Welcome to the interview. We are excited to have you here to share about your entrepreneurial journey. We know you have a lot of valuable insights to share, and we appreciate you taking time for the session. So, I would like to introduce my group members. We have Harsh, Dharini, Derek, Vaidehi, Prakash, and I'm Aastha. So, I would like to start by asking you to introduce yourself by giving us about your background information and also about your venture camp.
Okay. Yes. Thank you all for having me here. It's interesting to always interact with young MBA students. So my name is Saloni and I'm the co-founder of Ogami Bioscience Private Limited. I have a senior scientist who's a co-founder along with me. And we are scientists turned entrepreneurs who started on the entrepreneur journey in around 2018 of August. And so we are entering the 5th year. And being scientists, we have created a range of products that are based on science and research, and we have tried to make it affordable for our dairy farmers. So that's our story.
How did you identify opportunity to venture into this sector only?
Right, yeah. So this sector, as you know, I work with, so I make animal nutrition products, and it's comparatively a very new sector. But if you see that whether it is livestock animals or pet animals, there's always a range of products that is exported. And we always complain that the products are expensive, whether it is pedigree or anything like that, right? So this was always based out of, it was always in my radar. And secondly, when I was working as a junior scientist before I started my company at one of the reputed cancer institutes. And there we realized that there's a rise in chances of cancer even in families where there is no tobacco or cigarette consumption. So we were wondering why this is happening. So this directly linked to some habits that we have every day. And now there are innumerable habits, but we wanted to understand whether milk is one of the factors because it's a common factor with the rich or poor. So now due to adulteration in milk, due to complexities in milk and the affordability of milk, we figured out that yes, milk might be a causative agent for many diseases since it's adulterated. Now, why milk is adulterated? It rooted back down to animal nutrition, what animal eats and how he eats and whether there lies the problem, right? So that's why we were very much more interested when we found out this relation and realized that it is a social impact that we would want to do. So we tried off getting into that direction, and only by getting into it was by chance, but once we got into it, we realized that it's such a huge market, and so we are stick to it. Yeah.
Good evening. So entrepreneurship often comes with various challenges. So could you please help us elaborate what are the challenges you face or even facing?
Right. So see, the challenges are at two levels. A is professional and B is personal. Okay. So I'll start with the personal challenges being a woman entrepreneur, and then we head on to most of the challenges at the professional level, which all entrepreneurs face. Right. So to begin with, so as you know, I'm into animal nutrition, and most of my domain of area is rural. So my biggest challenge was to travel rural because in India, A, it is not safe, and B, it is not, even if it is safe, then it is not hygienic. There are no washrooms, there are no proper amenities. You cannot be a woman and roam around everywhere, and there will still be eyes. That is one thing. It's a very big thing because my clients are at the rural most end of the villages. So it's very difficult to be comfortable there. That is one part. So there is always a challenge that I have to put myself into. कि ऐसा ही होगा, कुछ available नहीं होगा. So those are one of the biggest challenges. Second is the challenge that being a young person, villagers or often people who are very senior, they sort of have this angle कि ये हमें बताएगी. She looks so young. तो ये बताएगी हम लोग इतने सालों से कर रहे हैं कि कौन शहर से आके हमें ज्ञान देगी. So that is one initial hesitation that everyone will have. Even our parents have it when we tell them something, right? So that's an initial hesitation that has to be broken with regards to this. And more importantly, as a person, I feel that with my balancing the personal life and professional life is a little tricky. So it's like one of the most important things that I have accepted now is that there are goals that you set, but when you're managing your life as a whole, then there can be delays in the goal because of your personal reasons or anything that comes up. Because once Sudha Murthy, who's one of my most influential people, she said that with women entrepreneurs, they get married, then they have children, then the children fall sick, then they grow up, then the parents get ill. So there's always something or the other that is going to pull her at home and not going to allow her to give her 100%. But that is okay, because with all that, there'll only be delays. So I have to be okay with delays than my timelines. That are my personal problems that I tackle. And professionally, there have been a lot of challenges. For example, our product was comparatively very new. So we did not have a set outline as to how to go ahead about it, how do I market it, what will be the strategy. So we had to try, then learn out of our mistakes, then do it again, then pivot. So it was more of do it, take risks, learn, do. So that took a lot of time. That was one of the challenges that. So whoever is who is the rule breaker, or you could say the first people's advantage that you get, first person's advantage that is there. So there is advantage, but there is disadvantage, because you break all the norms and then that takes a lot of time. Then others will just pile upon you. So that is professionally one of the challenges. Secondly, the challenge is to find the right people and the right money at the right time when you need it. So there's money when you don't need it, but when you need it the most for expanding your business, also there's no money available. So there's always a mismatch in your cash flow management, in your people management. So if that is one challenge as you grow that is faced. And of course, then there are other challenges like operational challenges, which could be different depending upon case to case. With my regards, now if you see, most of the startups are service startups, but mine is a manufacturing startup. So there are issues with regards to permissions that you require for manufacturing, funds that you require, compliances that you require. So all these are really bogging you down and they take a lot of your time. So these are the challenges we are dealing with. Then the policies keep changing. There are big fishes in the market who are there to just eat you up. So you have to sail through all these.
I'll ask the next question. So, what I want to know is, you said that the market was not explored that much. So, I am assuming you didn't have any secondary research data. So, how did you develop your product? Because you are not sure what the market is and how big the market is. So, how did you go about your market research?
Right. So see, ideally, if to be really frank, when we began, we were making a different product before. So for that, we had a said market that, okay, cattle feed, this is the market. And like I said, I was primarily only interested in Mumbai market, the Mumbai dairy market. So that market I was well aware of, that there are these many number of farmers and these many number of animals. Okay, I was only constrained with that. So with that, we had developed a set of products, and then the pandemic happened. So after that, what happened was, that we had to pivot, but we pivot in the terms of strategy with regards to product development and other things. We actually didn't do any market research. And that is a flaw, that is a learning that I can tell you, that after 2 years, I realized that, oh God, we haven't just done market research at all. And it is one of the key learnings, you could say, in my career's journey, that we went with the flow. We went with what the farmers said us. We went with what we were thinking at that moment of time. Because for us, we were thinking, jo hum kar rahe hain, sahi kar rahe hain, right? But when we did it and we sort of got that lessons on our own, then we realized, oh, this is not a good market for dairy, or this is a good market for dairy. So frankly, market research was a lacuna that we had. I wish I would have done it properly.
Ma'am, you told about the cash flow. So we all know that every startup requires funds. So my question is that, how did you manage your funds in the initial days?
Right. Very valid question, because like I said, initially we were bootstrapped and we had a funding received under the Startup India scheme by SBI. They are really promoting entrepreneurs. So we got a loan from SBI and we had our raw material, our machinery set up with that. But the pandemic happened. So 2 years we had the funds, but we did not have any work to do. So the funds were wasted on trying out things, That was a very mismanaged approach that we had, because we didn't know anything about the future and we just did what we did thinking things will get better. So initially we were funded by SBI and in the form of loan. But nowadays there are a lot of different means with which you can go ahead with regards to funding. So whether it is startup seed fund, whether it is your grant money. So after 4-5 years of experience, we have now arrived and we are better equipped when it comes to funds. There are grants available, there are government schemes available. So you can leverage that. As a newcomer, there is a lot of scope. But initially, you have to invest a little of your own as well. And then you can take back later on. Because what happens is, see, if I bring a dress to you and I show you, see, this is what I can make in a crude manner. Versus, I'll tell you a complete story and you have no clue about what I'm trying to do. So any person who's going to give you funds will only believe if they have some example to see. That, okay, she's trying to make something like this. I can have some fair idea. Right. So that fair idea is needed, and to develop that fair idea, you need your own funds. Whether it is 100 rupees, 1 lakh rupees, doesn't matter. So then that's where your family comes into picture. That's where your friends come into picture. So even my parents supported me a lot in the entire journey, and the initial funding required to even apply the loan was from my dad.
It was good to know about your challenges so far. Since I'm well aware of your personal journey, and all of us have read up quite a lot about Okami and your personal journey, we know that you wanted to go for higher education abroad, pursue PhD. So, why do you think that Indian education system is lacking somewhere in creating that entrepreneurial mindset in young minds from an early age? Where do you think our education system, needs to fix itself so that we can produce more and more entrepreneurs over all the country?
See, the major flaw in our education system, if you go through the entire school that we have had, is to create a mentality which creates people who are slaves, or people who will be a task force because they're only applying their mind. Whereas if you see all the innovation and creativity that the US has, or the Europe has, or the UK has, is coming out of the heart. And since our childhood, we have never been appreciated for using our heart, neither being trained to use our heart, neither being, given a direction to even think in that sense. So we are never approached with creativity, innovation, or anything. Even if we try writing an answer, that teachers don't give us a mark saying कि जो textbook के नीचे लिखा है वैसा ही होना चाहिए. Right? So we are built to do what is done and just do the right way as protocol. This is how clerks are made. This is how blue collar jobs people are cultivated, because that is where your brain is being wired. And in those times, we are just followed to copy whatever is done. Just do this much. Study this. I'll tell you one example that my brother, who was in first standard, was supposed to make a drawing. All of us have drawing teachers, right? So he made a tree which was brown in color. So the teacher asked him to come for the PTA meeting and said that your child doesn't get any, he does not have any common sense. Trees is always green. We have taught them how green trees are, and this guy doesn't understand, so you better tell him. So my mom just gave him a look and said, why have you done this? I mean, what is your idea behind it? So he said, Mom, it's simple. The tree is just dried and there is no water, right? And my parents encouraged that we should be, how will there be entrepreneurship and everything. So now we see there is a slight change in terms of focus and shift towards entrepreneurship because there are no jobs. Thank you. So everyone's thinking of entrepreneurship, but are we skilled and are we having the approach? No. That's why if you see the percentage of success in becoming an entrepreneur, any guesses? Successful entrepreneurs?
Like ratio
What's
wise
the
or
percentage? Like randomly, if there are 10 entrepreneurs, how many of them are successful?
I think
four,
eight,
rate is
eight,
One or
similar.
eight.
two are successful, I guess.
Right.
four,
The
I
Five
guess.
is
percentage is 1
yeah,
or
most of them
2%.
said that.
Right. So the success percentage is hardly 2%. Right. Because we think it in a manner that this will be a money making or money minting thing. That's the only thing we are trained to. But that is not entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is problem solving. Entrepreneurship is taking risks. And that is never wired in our minds. So when the hard component comes, automatically it will happen. And that is where our system has to change.
I would like to ask you, like, how did you manage to keep yourself motivated throughout your whole journey? Like, after so many failures, after so many difficulties, after so many challenges, how did you face all these challenges? How did you manage to keep yourself motivated
I mean, even
throughout?
I wonder this, and I ask myself, what keeps me going? I mean, either there is a lot of time already wasted, so better stick to what you're doing, that is there. But jokes apart, what keeps me going is that every time I have lost hope, there's something that gives me assurance that I should keep working on it. For example, I feel that okay, no one is buying a product, nothing is happening, and now suddenly the sales are low. I should just wrap this up. But suddenly, so I sleep over it. The best thing that I do is I sleep over it. कि कल देख लेंगे, because I'm very lazy when it comes to taking actions. So I sleep over it, and the next day there's some order that comes my way. So I've always seen that whenever I've lost hope, and that one moment I'm very hopeless, and I'm like, what a failure I am, what a money I've wasted. And there's a lot of comparison that you do also. All my friends are earning so well, they're in abroad, the PhDs are done, and what am I doing? And I'm not even being able to contribute to my family. So fortunately, both my parents, like my in-laws or my parents, don't need my money at all. They're self-sufficient. But it is my feeling that I'm not able to contribute, I'm not able to do anything. So these things do bug you down, and you lose hope at times, but then I sleep over it. That's the best thing. And then the next day I think of where I'm going wrong, what could be done better, because there are some certain signs. There is recognition coming from LinkedIn for the work that I do. There is recognition coming from farmers. One of the farmers says that my animal has become really healthy. So then I feel that okay, if not 100 animals, at least 1% is benefiting. So why not, let's do that. At least something is better than nothing. So that's how I keep myself hopeful,
So
always
after
look to the
getting so
brighter
much,
side.
yes, ma'am, yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. So after getting so much useful insights about the entrepreneur, I want you to tell us learnings you want to give us as being a young MBA student.
See, there are, if you want to know from a professional front, then A is be yourself and be confident about it, because nothing outshines than that. Realize the good that you have in you, because let's do one simple activity. Just close your eyes and think of two good traits in you and two bad traits in you in one moment. Think of something good in you, your best qualities, two best qualities, and two bad qualities. That's it. Could you think of two bad qualities and two good qualities? How
Yes.
many
Yes,
of
ma'am.
you could think of good qualities? What took time? Good qualities took time.
Yeah,
Both of
good
them
qualities
actually.
did took time.
Because you really had to find out कि अरे यार क्या अच्छा है हमें, right? So we're not even seeing that. And as students, I would want you to see what is good in you. So what is good in you, take that ahead, make it the best in you, right? And other things that you feel that okay, these are my weaknesses, work on that. And I think just keep your heart. That is one advice. And second would be just keep your heart open for new experiences, for new challenges. Do not uh, do not put yourself in a fix. I cannot do this. I cannot do that. You never know what you can do. Just be open. Just give it a try for anything that comes in your life. I think yeah, those would be those two things.
This is,
Huh?
ma'am,
Follow?
this is just an informal question.
Yeah.
Like I want to ask that being an entrepreneur is good or being a corporate employee? What's your opinion?
See, nothing is bad. It depends on what you are made up for, right? Because uh, some people are passionate, and but they're passionate only when they have some leadership over them. And some people are leaders. So see, when you talk of entrepreneurship, there's only going to be one leader in the team or two leaders at max. But then the others have to follow and do their best under some guidance. So you also need to think, are you a good follower? Are you a good leader? If you're a leader, take up a leadership thing. Because in a startup environment, there are also 3-4 people, right? It's a team. You're not a one person. So you need someone to listen to you also. सिर्फ आप किसको बताओगे अगर आपका सुनने वाला कोई है नहीं तो, right? So people are of different types. You have to identify what sort of a person you are. Do you work better when you have set guidelines, when you have streamlined SOPs ready है, बता दिया है किसी ने कि ये करो, तब आप अच्छे काम करते हो कि आपको आउट ऑफ द वे जाके खुद अपना ही करना है कि आपको रूल्स फॉलो नहीं करने हैं, आपको ऐसा लगता है कि यार ये बोल रही है इसको तो ऐसे भी तो कर सकते हैं. अगर ये आपका थिंकिंग है तो देन आप में वो थोड़ा सा एंटरप्रेन्योरल अप्रोच है. अगर आप में ये है कि नहीं, like there are so many of my friends whom I suggest, please don't become an entrepreneur. You're so good as a corporate because when given direction, you're the best. You know, like being a horse. The horse always needs a jockey, right? If there is no jockey, the horse is not going to work. फिर वो रास्ते वाला horse बन जाएगा. तो वो horse अगर race course का horse चाहिए तो उसे trainer चाहिए. So be the best that you are, but identify your own pattern first. Where do I function the best? If I function with guidelines, then I need a mentor, I need some leadership above me to guide me. Then I'm going to perform the best. Because corporate job is not a bad thing. It's a service sector, but there should be people who are very good at following norms, following administrative practices. They're the best when it comes to coming on time, dressing up in a certain manner, bureaucrats or people like that. But people like entrepreneurs, they're like out of the way. हम ये क्यों करें? You know? अलग अलग सोच है उनकी. जो रेबल है थोड़े, उनको प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करना है, they can take the risks. They can think of becoming an entrepreneur. So there are all sorts of jobs one can take up. You choose what you're good at.
So thank you, ma'am, for all the insights that you gave us, and we are really inspired by your journey, and we really appreciate you taking time for us. So at last, I would just like to wish you all the best for all your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope I'm really sorry I delayed.
You.
So that's it for today.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Perfect. Next time, let's catch up and do some small relaxation or meditation session.
Yeah, sure.
Sure, ma'am.
I've already delayed you for the night, so I won't disturb you. Now, all the best for your MBA, and do catch
Thank
up
you.
if there's anything. Do keep in touch on LinkedIn, and if there's
Sure.
anything, let's keep in touch.
Sure, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye bye. Thank you so much for having me once again.